Hey, what's up, fellow DIYers? This is Scott from OG DIY, and it's been a busy summer. A lot of miles I've put on the vehicle. This is a 2017 Lexus LX, big SUV, and I think since I've purchased it, I've got about 27,000 miles on it, so it's sitting at 94,000 miles and change. There's a number of services that I've done on the channel and uplifted those from a video perspective. And today I'm going to do a brake pad check because quite a few miles since I purchased it, and it's time to inspect at least. And I've got brake pads as well for front and rear. It's time to inspect first, and then potentially change those brake pads out. So, as I said, very busy summer, lots of miles on vehicles, been out and about across the country, and this one is needing a check. So I'm not getting the screeching brakes just yet, but I have seen some videos out there where one pad, you could have some potentially uneven wear, for example, on the front brakes. One pad that presses up against the caliper may not wear down sufficiently to hit that, screeching wear screecher, for lack of a better word. So the other side can go down to bare metal and roach your rotors, and I don't want that. So these brakes are working great right now, and I hopefully when I open them up, and I'll show you that along the way, we're not going to see huge wear, but maybe wear enough to justify changing those pads out. So first an inspect, and then a potential pad change. And let's get right into it. I'm going to show you everything I'm going to use for this process, and hopefully you'll learn a little something along the way. If you got some suggestions or how you did it, please upload it to the channel, and we'll get through this and hopefully be better for it in terms of me with the experience. And by the way, I've not changed brake pads on this particular vehicle. I've done it on other vehicles over the years, but not on this one. So we're going to be doing this together for those of you who have not done a 200 series LandCruiser / LX. So let's get after it. All right, so first and foremost are the ceramic brake pads. These are the rears, and then this is the fronts. I've got a little bit of thread lock just for the specific bolts on the back of the calipers, and I'll show you those when I get into it. Certainly some brake clean. This is brake grease and caliper grease. You don't put it on the pads. You only put it on the bolts that go into the calipers, so be careful what you do with that. Certainly you're going to need something to get your tire off, so we got an impact wrench to do that. And maybe I will be doing some clean off of the various rust and dirt that's on those calipers. So that's what this drill and brushes and wire brushes are for. You need to hang your caliper probably to somewhere on your strut mount spring, somewhere in there, so that you don't stretch out and do damage to the brake line. This obviously is to catch any of the crap when you're cleaning it off. Your lug nut tool, in this particular case, got a nice little bug on there. I don't know where I got that fella. And you are going to need to put, with the appropriate torque wrench, you're going to need to put those bolts on the caliper back at the right torque setting. So this is what we've got for the tool set. In addition to that, you're going to need to raise up your vehicle. That's a 3-ton jack, floor jack, and I've got jack stands. We're going to put a little block behind the rear wheel as well. So I think a helpful first step is the caliper is on the back of the disc, or the rotor. So turning your wheel slightly inward so you can get the back of the wheel to come out is helpful. Now this is an oversized wheel, so it's going to be a little tight. I tried to turn it all the way in, and then I knew I was going to have some rubbing issues bringing it off. So I'd say that's the first thing you want to do. I used the floor jack
to jack it up from the frame and put one jack stand in there. And then I'm going to use the floor jack on this side just to take the droop off the front wheel when I loosen the lug bolts. So it's up under the lower control arm there. And don't need to bring it up very high, and it'll stay on that floor jack while I'm working on it. Okay, so in this case, for this sort of splined lug remover, it needs a 22 millimeter socket first and foremost. So got that on there, and then we're just gonna loosen these up. All right, taking the droop out of that. Alrighty. Now, normally I'd have some gloves on. Probably should go get them, but that's all right. And there we go. Well, actually pretty good news. If you see this little gap right here, here's the pad here, the outward pad. Here's the inside pad. And it looks to me like they're wearing pretty evenly, but if there's a gap right there, you can see where the wear gap, sort of the measuring distance, if you will, for more room still to go before I'm out of pad on the front, at least on this left front. Here's a brand new one, and there's that same gap, visual gap, right, where you can essentially get all the way down here to this wear area where this gap disappears, frankly, before you need to replace those. So this is a good visual inspection. There's a lot of dirt on here. I'm going to spend some time and wire brush some of this off, clean this off just because I'm here, and I'm going to put the wheel back on, and I'm going to check each of the other three to see how the rears are wearing, how the right passenger side is wearing versus this left driver's side. I expect to see them both about the same, but at this point, there's not going to be a need to replace these just yet. I'm guessing, but I bet 10,000 more miles for sure. But it's a fairly easy process to change these. You're going to take these clips out. You're going to pull these retainer bars out. There's a clip here that holds them. Pull that clip out. These slide out. And then you unbolt them from back here. And then you hang this caliper over here. And then you pull out the brake pads. You got to make sure you separate the piston when you put new ones in. So you got to figure out a way to do that. Either a couple of screwdrivers or a piston compressor for the dual pistons here that push on the brake pads with hydraulic fluid. So I hope to show you that before we're done here with this video, but right now this doesn't need to be changed. So this one's in really good shape. The pads are in good shape. You're looking for any major cracks or scarring or scoring. If the pads were already all the way down against the metal, these would be destroyed. You'd have to go get them turned. If you're lucky, you could salvage them. If not, you need to get new rotors. But these are in great shape. Okay. All right, let's lower that baby down. You can also check your tire tread pretty easily from this perspective as well. So I recommend you do that. Check your wear bars on your tires. While you're at it, doing a visual check here. If you look through that square hole, you can see the pads themselves. And now with a 17mm, pulling that caliper cover off. Comparing the wear patterns of the old pad versus the new ones, and these are definitely replaceable, need to be replaced for sure. All right. So there's that new clip in there, seated. That's the top one, and not a great vantage point here, but you can see that bottom clamp. So I was struggling with this bottom clip, and it turned out I was putting the wrong clip in there. So I grabbed the old one and just compared all the new clips I had and found the right one. Interesting, when you do the research on this, you know, those clips look completely reusable, but this whole area gets heated up to high temperatures. So recommendations across the board with when you put your new pads in, put your new clips in as well. So that's what we're going to do. That's what we've done here, I should say. The other thing is, I've got this, it's called 5 Bananas. It's your caliper splitter, or, you know, it pushes the calipers back out again. So we're going to do that for this caliper right here, so that it fits over the top of these new, much thicker pads that are on here. So that's what's coming next. Hopefully I don't screw this one up so you all can see it, but I'm just taking the hanger off of here, the home custom hanger job. And then I'm going to get the pizza spreader, or the 5 Bananas, I should say. And it just literally goes in there and pushes the screw all the way out. And I'm going to take it until it doesn't move any further, which I'm close. You just reverse that and you can notch it back out again. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, so what you don't want to do is go step on the brake pedal right now, because that'll screw everything up. Just do a quick visual inspection and make sure everything is copacetic, as they say. Just cleaning up the back side of this, not spraying it on the pads. And that looks good. New pads are in there. Okay. So now what we want to do is we're going to take these and we're going to put a little bit more. I'm going to clean these off actually, and use the brake cleaner to clean all of them off completely. And I'm going to re-lubricate them. All right, just realized I made a little error, an omission, I should say, on this this back pad. This is on there, which that must be the low wear screamer that starts to, once this pad gets almost down to the metal, this thing starts to scream and make noise, and I didn't put it on this back pad. So I need to get that one out of there. And put the fresh clip in here. And it's simply, I say simply, let me look at this one more time. It looks like it just grabs right there. But where would it? Oh, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. It goes like that. I believe. Yeah. The back of it is away from the pad material. So it would have gone in there like that. So like that, I guess. Which means I just need to make sure that's seated as close as it can be. And just press it on. Yeah, it pressed on just fine. Okay. So let's see, did I put it on the wrong side? Pad materials here, pad materials here, put it on the wrong side. I don't know if it matters, but I want to make sure I do it the way it came off. There we go. Okay. So had a little omission. Let's just make sure that goes back in there. It doesn't create strife. Okay. All right, we're back on. Now I can go ahead and clean those caliper bolts appropriately. Get back to the sequence. This will be for the other side. First of all, you know how hard it is to put these freaking gloves on after you've just washed your hands? Ay, ay, ay. All right, let's get these cleaned up. Stuff comes out pretty powerful. So I recommend safety glasses, which I have on. All right, those are clean enough for me. So what I'm going to do now is, this is caliper grease. Just picked it up from one of the local automotive stores. And I'm just going to use that and put like one swipe on the top and swipe on the bottom or whatever, and make sure I got some decent lubrication on there. So like thusly. Don't need it on the threads, don't want it on the threads. That one's ready to go. You don't want a ton because it's going to push out, right? And it has to go somewhere. So it'll either drop on the ground or hit the brakes or hit the calipers, and then that defeats the purpose. All right. We're ready to button it up on this side anyway. All right, I snugged this one back, the bottom caliper bolt, and let's just get this snugged. All right, that's snugged. And then I looked it up. What I found was 80 foot-pounds, which that should be good, 80 foot-pounds of torque. All right, I got the top one, but this is crazy. I got to come all the way back here. It's the only spot I could find. Come on, baby. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Let's torque to 80 on both sides, so that's good. Now we can put the wheel back on. Yeah, it looks like I bought this truck with, I think right around just under 70,000 miles. They said they did the brake pads, but it looks to me like they did the fronts. Doesn't look like they did the rears, unless they wear unevenly, which would be weird. If anybody knows that out there, if they wear uneven front to back. I'm not advanced enough in my brake knowledge or have enough experience to know if you'd have uneven front to back wear. Put it in the comments section. I'd be curious to know. Whoa, whoa, baby. Easy. And one tire's done. We're going to do the other rear as well. Nice. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We don't want that. Now, we can't torque it. Any muscle into it. Going the wrong way with the damn thing, tightening it up. That is the dumbest thing you can do. It's going to go like that. So let's put this through here. Oh, interesting. These have less wear than the other side. All right, I'm in now, changing them. Yeah, but that has more wear on that side. That wear bar's gone. Gone. Interesting. Okay, gotta remember that clip goes on the new one. Let's get that clip on there now. That's ready to go. That's the old one. I'll just put it there for a visual. All right, clip time. Find that exact replacement clip. More right. There we go. That's more right. Okay. there. Seems simple once you find it. That one's in. There's that one, okay. Another one close to that one. Maybe that one. There. Wow, that's the one. All right, we got that on there. Okay, that doesn't want to go in on that side. There. Those appear to be in. 47,000 clips left. That's what's confusing in these kits. Quick cleaner. Whoa. They are kind of heavy, so I could see him ripping that brake line if you were not careful. Whoa, got the shakes. There we go. Not too much. If you pull it this way, the threads will catch. You notice, and they're catching there too. Okay, let's do the rest of it this way.
All right, gang, that's a wrap. If you made it this far, congratulations. Thanks for joining me. This was what turned out to be a front brake inspection, as there was plenty of pad room remaining on the front brakes, where it was a full rear brake change. And interesting to note for me that there was uneven wear on each of the pads. So I can't imagine somebody would change these pads and would put a new pad just on the outside of both. It was just on this passenger side rear that the wear bar, you couldn't see it anymore. So definitely uneven wear around, but not catastrophic. It obviously didn't chew into the discs, and it wasn't low enough to get down to the metal on the pads, so we got to it soon enough, which is great. I would say, you know, the first repair or replace that was done on the driver's side probably took me at least an hour, maybe an hour and a half, because I was jacking with the clips, wasn't entirely sure how everything came apart. I timed the last one. It took me 20 minutes start to finish on the last one. So in the future, doing this will be much, much quicker. And I actually look forward to doing the fronts in maybe 10,000 miles or so, because I think those will go really, really quick. Those just have the little wire retainers, spring-loaded wire retainers, not the clips that are on the rear that tend to be a little problematic, and you got to match up the exact clip out of the kit that's given to you. So anyway, that's a wrap. I will upload any additional changes in the comments, in the description, if when I go out and do the test drive, I find anything weird and I have to get back into it. Because as soon as I wrap this video, I'm going to go test drive this thing and see how she does and the feel of the pedal. So thanks for joining me on OG DIY. Hopefully this was educational, and if nothing else, maybe you got a good laugh out of it. And at the end of the day, if you're going to work on your vehicle and you've got 200 series, this certainly applies directly, and the same principles will apply to a lot of brake systems. So again, thanks for joining me. Be good. Bye-bye.